You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching, or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites.
No login, no problem. No matter if social media isn't your thing or you're taking a break, you can listen in right on our website. Save your data and this episode by downloading it from our website, nursinginspired.com/podcast. So if you have to take a pause, you don't lose your place where you were listening or your battery power. That'll also help our podcast rankings rise to the top.
This podcast is hosted by Fallon M. Flowers.
Fallon M. Flowers, the Black pre-nursing coach and board-certified women's health nurse practitioner serving patients in obstetrics and gynecology on the south side of Chicago. Fallon has made many contributions in her area of practice, including preceptor, instructor, and journal peer reviewer. She is known for her advocacy and speaking on women's health topics for the last 20 years, including to the youth. Fallon has been recognized for her mentorship since 2015 in her efforts to combat the nursing workforce shortage by serving as an instructor and academic coach to college-bound youth and non-traditional adult students. She has spoken to youth as young as 10 years old about nursing and frequently speaks for high schools and youth groups about nursing careers both globally and locally. Fallon was the host of 2 television specials, Pre-Nursing in Color and Suits and Scrubs, The Black Men of Nursing. She was a dedicated host in her Clubhouse forum, Student Support Sunday for Black pre-nursing students. Recognized as a nursing leader, Fallon has received several awards, grants, and scholarships from national and state-level organizations. She's also been inducted into the International Honor Society of Nursing, Sigma Theta Tau. She has accepted several keynote speaker invitations and is frequently requested to contribute on advisory, nonprofit, and executive boards. As a flourishing entrepreneur, Fallon is the founder and CEO of Nursing Inspired LLC, with her online school and one-to-one coaching. She encourages her fellow business owners in various capacities and her fellow nurses and nurse practitioners how they can become entrepreneurs too. Fallon M. Flowers, entrepreneur, speaker, and pre-nursing career coach.
Hello, y'all. Happy New Year. It has been some time since I have been on. I think it's been about exactly a month now. I pray that you all's 2025 so far has been going well, healthy, happy, whole, and I am just glad to be back. So it's really been some time. I wanted to come back in. So welcome everybody, those of you who are new here. So this is now season 2, episode 17 of the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. I just really can't believe it. And today's episode is entitled From Stress and Anxiety to Reflection and Manifestation. And so I wanted to take this time, especially to kind of delve into that. Really being because, not only from my own experience, but just seeing what other people, even patients, have been going through within the last month, with all of the stress and anxiety that comes with the holidays, and then seeing how we can reflect and then manifest. So that's what I want to make sure to focus on today, for, family, friends, but of course, all of the future nurses out there, as the primary audience. And so just kind of looking at what's been happening. So I was looking forward to actually having another episode in December after our last one, which I want to shout out to our last guest. This was the incredible Shannon King, episode 16, From Medic to Med Spa, Wellness, Advocacy, and Balance as a Cannabis Nurse. So she came on with us, and she actually came on her birthday, which I want to make sure to shout out. Especially also, getting ready for the holiday season as well, and traveling out of town. There was a lot going on. I had a last minute guest cancellation and she hopped right on in. She was due to be a guest anyway, but that worked right on out. So look at God, won't he do it? But so, after that episode, I was actually intending to have an episode the next 2 weeks from that, which actually wound up being my birthday. And I think I'll say, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but trying to celebrate a birthday holiday and do a podcast at the same time just wasn't the jam. So we didn't go forth with that. And then after that, just kind of starting off the new year, I just really needed some time. So thank you all for your grace. I'm definitely giving myself some grace in being absent in this time, in this last month, but I really hope that it has been a time of transformation for everyone. So, looking at the title, stress and anxiety, I'm thinking about, not only my time, but again, the students in this last month. So, for you students, a lot of you may have been, if you're a pre-nursing student, finishing up her prerequisites and taking finals and getting ready for the holidays and possibly traveling back home, and all of that type of stuff. Possibly moving out dorms, moving to new apartments, what have you, all of those type of things, happening even as a pre-nursing student. Preparing to, look at scholarships and nursing school applications over your winter or Christmas break, what have you. So things like that, which are very stressful. Whew. I used to love being a student for a long time, but the more I'm into this everyday life, I don't know if I envy that. So bless all those who are furthering their education. Although I will be going back at some point in time for my DNP, so that is on my goal list. But that's the stress and anxiety of, what students have to look forward to. Of course, if you're a nursing student, you have all of that. Plus you got clinicals and you got care plans. And, as the unsaid or sometimes said rule of nursing school goes, if you don't pass clinical, you don't pass class. But of course, during that same time frame, we have had a lot of COVID upticks, RSV upticks, flu upticks. So you sick, if your baby or kid gets sick, guess what? You sick too. So that's got to be, hellified scary to, be trying to take care of yourself, take care of your family, your kids, household. You got, nursing class and your final exams you got to take, but you also have to have your care plans done and also just be present for your clinicals. And so that is a whole lot. So, with that, that could really do a number on people in itself. But, the other thing is sadly and unfortunately, during the holiday season, I don't know, and there's probably data and research to support this, but people, there's a lot of death, unfortunately, that happens around the holiday time frame. And then for some reason, it's always in the early morning hours, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the morning. People having things like heart attacks and strokes and not waking out of their sleep, unfortunately, aneurysms and things like that. I'd imagine between the stress of the holidays, just trying to prepare and travel and clean and do all these things that you are not rigorously doing on a regular basis, but maybe on the run, and eating when you can, how you can. But the other added thing is all of the good eating, because Lord have mercy. I could tell you this past holiday season, I was like, what? Whew. If I was diabetic, I'd be in trouble, getting cakes brought by and, baking cookies with, my, partner's mom and family, and people giving you candy, and neighbors and family, coworkers, and all of these things. And so we're severely increasing. If we already didn't have a high sodium diet and a high sugar diet, now we've added on top of that with all of this stress, which I definitely want to get into a bit more and talk about that whole stress anxiety piece. But I could say for myself, so not only was it, you had the Thanksgiving holiday, Black Friday came up, shopping galore, but I mentioned my birthday and all of that. So my birthday was December 18th, a week before Christmas. So I'm trying to celebrate myself, especially for once this time around. And I'll get to that in a minute. But also make sure that I got all of the shopping and orders done in time so that things could be available, to have to present to people for presents for Christmas Day. And I said celebrating myself this time because, sometimes I would just kind of be salty about being having a birthday around the holidays, because it's like, that's not my, I'm not a big lover of all the, the holidays. Some people just really love Christmas holiday, all the trees and the snow and the snowfall, all of that stuff, the gifts and the gander and the cooking and hosting. That's not really like me per se. I love me some summertime. Lord have mercy, summertime shy. That's me. I love the fall season. I love nature. So that doesn't really like rhyme with my personality. So I'm so jealous of y'all folks that's like born in the spring and the summertime, because y'all get to enjoy yourselves without holidays all in the way and the weather. My God. Thankfully though, for all of my birthday celebrations this year, I decided to embrace being a winter baby and actually went into doing some things. I've never done this before. 43 years old. That's how old I am now. Went on an ice slide at Navy Pier with family and friends. Did some outdoor axe throwing. Did a winter wonderland theme type of immersive experience. And then I wound up maxing out on having too many people, but otherwise I was going to be having dinner in a igloo or ice warming hut. But that's okay. But either way, I had everybody dress up in ugly Christmas sweaters and snowflakes, and I was like snowflaked out head to toe. So finally embraced it. That's the one thing. And this is why I talk about stress and anxiety. Because it's always about everybody else and their gifts and thinking about everybody else and serving. You got to think about, I'm a business owner, I'm a nurse practitioner, I got my patients that I'm taking care of. And then I'm, of course, taking care of my household. And then you're talking about adding in all of this holiday shopping and presents and all of this stuff, So sometimes I don't get to plan in enough time to even celebrate my own self. And it's just like, my God, as hard as I work, and as much as I care about other people, I should celebrate or should be able to celebrate myself. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this time. But the other thing, the hard thing that some of you all may or may not be familiar with about my birthday is that when I was 6 years old, my father passed away. I was 6, my brother was 3. He passed away on December 11th. So he passed away 7 days before my birthday. And then his funeral was the day after my birthday. And I remember going to the funeral, and that was one thing. That was already hard for a long time to get over and stop honoring or celebrating the day that my father died versus honoring his birthday or Father's Day, for instance. So that was already one thing. And then my brother's birthday is Christmas Day, and he just turned 40. So happy belated birthday to my brother, Paul. But for a while, I used to call it the December curse. Very hard, and so, like I said, people experience death around the holidays. So that was already so hard for the longest time. But I'm an advocate of therapy, counseling, no matter if it's short term, long term. Get you a journal, do something, go to pastoral care, cry it out, work it out, do something. So I finally call myself deciding, over time in the last maybe 5 years to let the December curse go. But the other thing is, some years ago, just in that same time frame, right? My grandmother, my father's mother, died on the exact same day, y'all. I mean, how much can somebody take, you know? And so it took a while for me when people would say December 11th, December 11th, like, you know, for me to not think of that and for me to just like move past it like it's just another day of the week. Because it's like, how do you celebrate life and joy and living when one of the people that helped to make you died? But nevertheless, um, the holidays can be stressful and full of anxiety. Um, Now, so with all of that, um, I needed to take some time off. So no podcast, no social media, no newsletter. And that means I haven't even posted the pictures, y'all, from my birthday. From Christmas, nothing. Just I might have hearted a post, you know, here and there because guess what? Um, which I'll get to in a minute. Kept having migraines, y'all. I mean, just I want to say like 2 weeks off and on straight between migraines and sinuses. Y'all, does anybody else suffer with sinuses like me? Am I alone? I know my half of my family got sinus issues. It's terrible. Everybody's snorting this, you know, making that little weird clicking noise with their throat. It's weird. But that sinus pressure and those headaches are horrible. And you talking about still needing to be on the computer for work from when I didn't take off. And want to get into is, with all of this, not only having like I said, the holidays, my birthday, but then you're looking at, I had work deadlines, y'all. Oh my God. So those of you that are future nurses and nurses, y'all may not be aware of this, and maybe even some of the listeners and folks that are watching that are not in the industry, but there's something that we call quality measures in healthcare. So those things need to be taken care of, and it affects, what it sounds like, the quality of patients' care. And those measures help us to know how well we're doing. So not only having to make sure that all quality measures were addressed by the end of year in all of the patients that I've managed, by 11:59, December 31st, all charts, everything needed to be signed. So I spent my new year on the computer. Not a happy time. I thought I was going to be bringing it in the church or, with my significant other's family, something. But it was on the computer, tending to the business of being a provider. And so with this, I just want to say, with this industry, especially if you're going to go higher, if you want to go beyond being a LPN or registered nurse, if you decide to go to be an advanced practice registered nurse, you have, organizational deadlines that are not just by the organization, but maybe it's by the state, maybe it's federally, because that also affects funding. And so the sacrifice was real. It was hard because I was like, I never celebrate New Year's like this, and I was kind of salty for some days to follow, and just gone tired. Slept for probably 10, 11, 12 hours, and then would still be tired and then take an hour nap, just, it was bad. So it happens to the best of us. It happens to all of us. But I'm grateful nevertheless to we can conscious be clear. It's done, it's clear, all that stuff is gone, done, signed off. Don't call me, don't look for me. So I've started back to work a little into last week or this week, really, I guess. So I always do that for myself, and I'll talk about that in the last half of the podcast about the whole manifestation part of things, just to kind of share with you all some examples of what you can do for yourself. And so I want to talk next about, and this bridge as well, about the whole anxiety thing. So I talked about stress, your stress as a student, no matter if it's pre-nursing student, nursing student, even as a nurse practitioner at this point in time, but even my fellow nurses out there too, because as nurses, so I'm gonna step back just a second. As nurses, some folks are calling out last minute, going on vacation last minute, all of these things. And then you are the one that's working the double or whatever, you might be working a 16-hour shift and, 2 shifts back to back, whatever, just because it's holiday season and somebody was unable to make it. And maybe they weren't able to get a staffing nurse in time and things like that. Now, some people love, that holiday pay, nurses get that time and a half. Like, yeah, I'm gonna work Christmas. I'll work New Year's. I'll work Thanksgiving. I'll see family and friends later. I'm going to get that back. Hey, that's your prerogative, but some people, unfortunately, are not in they don't have a position. They don't have the opportunity to choose, because as we know, as you all know, healthcare doesn't sleep. So it is an industry worth sacrifice. So while everybody else, especially, like the folks that's in education, all the teachers, principals, admin, students, y'all got Christmas break. What break? We don't have no break. We literally, this was so hard this year, y'all. That's another thing about the holidays. So, my birthday was on a Wednesday. Christmas Day was on a Wednesday. New Year's Day was on a Wednesday. Trying to celebrate a holiday in the middle of the week is rough. So all of my folks who still had to go back to work the next day, y'all know what I'm talking about. That was real rough. Ooh. Now my job gave us New Year's Day off. And then I just decided I had requested to take the following 2 days after that. I'm like, I don't bring in the new year with nobody's job. I haven't done it in years. But 2, I'm glad I did because I was up till 11:59. Well, it was just about that time, making sure that everything was signed and done to make sure I took care of my obligations first. So there's that. So now on to the anxiety part. I think I actually want to, before I get into the anxiety part, I want to take a quick break and then I'll be right back. So I'm going to just share this with you all. Okay. So show ideas.
You're listening to an episode of Listen Up Future Nurse Podcast. Scan the QR code if you're watching or click the link in the podcast show notes to get your virtual remote. Make sure to tune in and subscribe on Spreaker and follow us on all your favorite podcast locations. And watch us live online on all of your favorite social media sites. Do you have ideas about who would be a great guest on this show, or perhaps you have a topic that you want discussed? Let us know. Send me an email at info@nursinginspired.com or text at 773-609-0649.
All right, so I am back. So I wanted to get on to talking about this anxiety piece. So there's a difference between, being anxious about some things. They're good nor bad. Having anxiety disorder and then panic attacks as well. So I really want to just emphasize, take care of your mental health. And I'm saying this because, again, not only are the holidays stressful, and New Year, and now you might even have like these New Year's, New Year, new me goals and all of this stuff, which a lot of data actually shows that this is like one of the most, this coming week or this week is the most depressing week there is. And I don't know, again, if it's because all the euphoria from the holidays is gone and all the celebrations are done. And maybe some people have even already lapsed in their New Year's resolutions, for instance. But it is a time that has been considered to be, where a lot of depression kicks in. But, actually, just from a clinical standpoint, as I think about it too, a lot of people in the north of the United States are known to be vitamin D deficient. And then, we're spending more time indoors, so we're not absorbing the vitamin D rays naturally from the sun into our skin, into our bodies like that. Although we do get a different variation of vitamin D from foods that we eat, it's different from getting it from the sun. So we're not getting as much sun. And then I don't know about where y'all at, but I think it's going to be 12 degrees today or something like that. 18 degrees as the low. I mean, I'm out here bundled up. Yeah, 12 degrees for the low today in the Chi. Bundle up, y'all. So, we're indoors. It's cold. You can't go nowhere. The holiday time is over. You don't spend all this money. Eating all this food. Some regret might creep in. People might have died, not even just during that recent holiday season, but maybe you had folks before that passed away that you just missed, and you just miss hugging them and seeing them and eating their foods and spending time with them and all the things around holiday time, and all of that's gone now. So really, there are lots of mental health resources out there. So I do want to mention, for the National Suicide Hotline, there's the 988 number. That's something that you can text, call, or chat with somebody if you are in mental health distress, especially if you are having suicidal thoughts or plan. You could always call 911. A lot of you, if you don't realize or already know, a lot of people are always like, I can't afford mental health. That's a benefit covered by a lot of your health insurances. So please take advantage, even if it's not that, with your employer. I'll get to some of this stuff later, but there's even short-term stuff that's offered by your employer for mental health. There's just lots of options. Even where I work at a federally qualified health center in the community, and so we have behavioral health counselors and therapists available. We can give referrals I could give you a referral. Come see me officially as a patient. Don't send me no text message, anybody that knows me, but come officially see me as a patient. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. Don't tell me all your business, because that's not what I do. But I will write you a referral and you can go get you some therapy. Come get you some help, y'all. Get you some help, please. There's also resources such as for all of my folks of color. Therapy for Black girls, for instance. So that is a wonderful resource. I had recommended to me by, I think, a cousin of mine, where if you were looking for a Black therapist, you look in your particular state, see if they accept your insurance, see if they're accepting new patients, and get at it. Okay. But I really want y'all to make sure that you take care of your mental health. So, back to the anxiety piece. I'm talking about the anxiety because, all those things that I talked about, they can really, we can take that anxiety, if it's not a panic attack or anxiety disorder. And even if we have panic attacks or anxiety disorder, we can take some of that anxiety or anxiousness about anticipating certain things, and we can reuse that energy. I actually have a book that was given to me by my significant other. I thought I had it with me. But it talks about kind of redirecting or reusing that energy. And I actually came across a couple of weeks ago in an article by Inc. It talked about how Michelle Obama, she had a specific methodology about how she turned her times of anxiety or being anxious and using that energy and refocusing and repurposing it, really, which was great, because sometimes, when we're anxious, we feel out of control. And with feeling out of control and not knowing what's next, or just even if we think we know what's next, it's still just, there's something there about waiting till that thing happen. But by taking some of that same energy and maybe using it for something that you do know the outcome, or that you are good at. This is what Michelle Obama talked about in the article. So if you're really good at cooking or baking something, go and get in that kitchen and go bake something. If you're out sometimes is painting something, get your easel out, do that. Get on the keyboard, do something. Something that makes you feel good, something that kind of reignites your confidence. And that's really important. And this is not only really something that, she was talking about, they used it for business owners, but this is something I think that everyday people can use, even if you're not a business owner. But students, please, have your coping mechanisms. I'm saying I just tore that all up. Coping mechanisms. Because that anxiety can and things like panic attacks can be so crippling, that it can shut you down. Procrastination creeps in. You start having angry outbursts, all the things. Believe me, I know. It's about having those skills. That's why I talk about therapy and therapy being very important and getting the skills that you need. Now, besides going to therapy, and counseling and considering even medication, which you can also see a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner for instance. I'm just throwing that out there. So you don't just have to see a psychiatrist for that. If you in this nursing world, take part in it. I have providers that are nurse practitioners myself. But do that. But also I want to mention again, because I don't know, I can't recall what podcast episode I may or may not have mentioned it on, or if it was on a television special that I hosted or what, but talking about using the resources at your school. So there are accommodations that you can get where if you have, documented depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, whatever that is, you can have the therapist provide you that documentation, and then you can use that to get a reasonable accommodations for while you're in school. So if you need additional time, on an exam, maybe, you keep having panic attacks, or you just can't get out the bed, or whatever that thing is, there is support for that. And there's no shame in that. Who's going to know later? And really, whose business is it? Because at the end of the day, if you are providing safe, effective nursing care, advanced practice care, does anybody really know if you had anxiety, depression, et cetera, and you had extra time on your test or whatever? Don't worry about it. So I just wanted to say that about the anxiety piece. Now, the other thing about stress and anxiety that I want to talk about is how it affects you in your mind and your body. Did you all know that there's actually a difference between stress, which we otherwise call eustress, and distress? So there's a difference. Everybody just thinks of stress, and they're like stress is a bad thing, but stress can be a good thing too. So stress could be, eustress, shall I say? Let me clarify. Eustress could be something like, I just finished all of the, requirements of my first application to nursing school, for instance. I just finished my last prereq. I just finished taking the T's. I just got my first nursing school application. I got nursing school orientation. We speaking this right in 2025. Yes, y'all. Come on, future nurses. I just graduated nursing school. I just passed the NCLEX. I just got my first nursing job. So that's eustress. Or for folks who haven't gotten there yet, maybe you're in high school, or maybe you're just listening in another capacity. If all of this is like too much nurse speak for y'all, that could be wedding, engagement, buying a house, improving your credit, a new job, all those type of things. Your body is still expending that energy. And so is your mind. So that's what, when we talk about eustress or stress, we're talking about not only your emotions, but we're also talking about how your body reacts and just your life, how your life reacts to it. Now, on the opposite end, distress. Now think about if we said all of those same things to say, I didn't pass my last prerequisite for nursing school. I didn't pass. I didn't get that acceptance into nursing school. I didn't get that first nursing job. I didn't pass the NCLEX the first time around, or, this person passed away in my life, or my, person walked away from me at the altar, whatever. I'm getting divorced. that can cause you to go into distress, which is different, because now you are not only having an emotional response to it, but it's how your body responds, and just how life around you is shaped from it. So that's distress. So there is really a mind body connection when we're talking about stress and anxiety. So it's really, really important to make sure that you are self-aware of your emotions. You are self-aware of your body when it's telling you something, and how things are changing around you because of all of these things. Like, for instance, around this holiday time and all of this stuff, I told y'all I have migraines. Laundry, oh my God, everywhere. Bags, receipts everywhere, all the things. So that mind body connection is real. So you really want to make sure that you are taking good care of yourself. I actually, I'll just say it now because I was thinking about talking about it in the second half of this episode. But I wound up, being so busy with all of this, lost track. I was supposed to go see the dentist before the year was out. Didn't do that. Whoops. But other things are, I fell off with my yoga, fell off with taking care of myself for my monthly massages, fell off with exercising. My step counter was just like, hello. Terrible. So with that, there comes things like, fatigue and muscle weakness. And, with all of that, you can even be moody, all of those things. I'm saying this for a reason, because you need to know yourself so that you can better take care of yourself. So if you're going to be the caregiver, you need to also know how to give care to yourself. That's really, really important. As a matter of fact, I'll talk about that in the second half when we come back. But we got to really make sure that we are self-aware, again, as we are preparing to become nurses, no matter if you're in the pre-nursing phase in high school, college, or if you are already in nursing school. And really, even as you continue on in this continuum, become a nurse or even nurse practitioner or some other variation within nursing, we have to make sure to take care of ourselves. So I want to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be back in just a moment. Attention, business owners. Are you ready to tap into the fast-growing market of the nursing community? Partner with us to showcase your products or services to this dedicated audience. Nursing programs, especially at HBCUs, educational programs like CNA, phlebotomy, and CPR, healthcare staffing agencies, and businesses focused on self-care and mental health support. If you're a business focused on providing solutions for the nursing inspired, our platform provides a unique opportunity to especially connect with future nurses eager to invest in their education and career. You could be next for a sponsorship advertising opportunity on the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. Contact us at info@nursinginspired.com to learn more about advertising opportunities today. All right, welcome back. I said I wanted to get into, and I'm sorry, I'm just trying to drop something in the chat. I tell you, I'm trying to multitask here. I wanted to get into looking at this whole thing with now taking care of yourself and reflection and manifestation. So, I don't know if you all have seen before now, there's nursing memes and videos and things out there. Maybe other industries use it too, but they say PTO is for, we normally know it as, something just related to, paid time off is the normal term. But the new meme or joke, the thing that's been going around on social media the last couple of years has been prepare the others. So prepare the others when it comes to you not being there. So use your PTO. Praise God, I was able to actually buy back, do a buyback for the PTO that a lot of PTO in my job, but I also turns out didn't take as much as I could have. So, but I got the buyback. So I got a little check, y'all, little check. That helped out because, whew, yeah, there was a lot going on. My car went out. See, I knew it was something else. It was just a lot going on, y'all. Mechanic part issues, timing, the cold freeze. It was a crazy time. But thank God it's over with. We in a new time and a new year. But as far as taking care of yourself, one of the things, definitely PTO, prepare the others, take your time off. So for me, again, as a nurse practitioner, I want you to, future nurses out there, to think about this. You know, depending on your employer, you may have to give 60, maybe even 90 days notice for your time off. So I had to request my 2 days after New Year's. Ooh, was that October? I think that was October. How do I know what I'm gonna be doing the day after New Year? You know. But so there's that consideration. Now, as a nurse, I know, and it's been so long since I worked as a nurse now. Now you still have to give your time requests, but you don't have to give anywhere as long. See, for us, we have patients that are assigned to us or impaneled to us as nurse practitioners. If you work in a primary care setting, so taking off and just closing the clinic is not always an option. You know, people have emergencies, they have medications that go out, they have critical labs that come in. You know, for me in obstetrics, you know, I had to prepare all of my OB patients like, hey, I'm going to be out the next 10 days or 12 days or whatever that time frame was. But you can see provider A, B, or C at this clinic or at the other clinic. So, or if you go into labor, you know, you having labor signs, you know, to go to the hospital. Or if you're looking for your lab results, I won't be around to review results with you. I won't have access to a computer, but there are other people that are in person or to telehealth, whatever. So we have to do a lot more. We have a lot more accountability. So, you know, to whom much is given, much is required. So that's, you know, when it comes to being a provider, advanced practice provider at that. So consider that. But you could always, you know, have your own business or work part-time or, you know, work in urgent care, you know, different places and environments maybe where you don't have to give as much notice. So it's not like I'm saying, hey, y'all don't want to become a nurse practitioner because you ain't gonna never get a day off. No, it's not that, but just kind of considering the extra responsibilities and considerations you need to have when it comes to your future as a nurse. Now, that's one of the things, right? So I'm going to pull up for you all. I want you all to see. Yes, this. So I want you all to see this as soon as I remember. Oh, okay. So I am having a, hold on, y'all. Sorry. There we go. All right. So I wanted to share with y'all something that I did in a keynote a couple of years ago for the Illinois Student Nurse Association. Yeah, it's been a couple of years now because that wasn't last year, 2024. That was 2023. Wow. Okay. I've been busy, y'all. So, oh, gotta love these live things, right? Technical difficulties. So, I want to share my screen so y'all could see this. There we go. So I talked about how nursing burnout is real, you know, very real. We really don't think about, we think about, you know, we think about all our time to that and sacrifice that we did to get there and what our driving mission is to become a nurse and who we want to help and what was our, you know, origin story and all of these things. But what we don't think about is, you know, especially I think I'll say even for new grads and people trying to make an impression and trying to just really make a mark in healthcare and nursing and even maybe consider getting a promotion and things like that. We go in and we go hard. We get into all of these organizations and all the things, you know, and we say yes every time they say somebody want to pick up a shift. all these things. And then we wound up burning ourselves out. It could even be just the demands and requirements of the job. So burnout in nursing is real. Absolutely. There are 9 types of self-care that I wanted to share with you. Sorry about the captions on the screen. I guess it just is. So that's another thing that I got to figure out how to do. But anyway, physical, getting yourself in some exercise, figuring that out, eating healthy or healthier, getting restful sleep as your priority for your physical health. So who's going for number 1 this year? Okay. Y'all put a 1 in the chat for me if we got some listeners and, out there. I see some folks listening and tuning in, but I can't tell from all the platforms who's watching right now. Monitoring your emotional stress, emotional self-care rather. So looking at stress management, which we talked about, forgiveness. So that's forgiving yourself, forgiving others, compassion, and just looking at stuff from a different lens in your own life and with others that you interact with. Socially, for your self-care, having a support system. This stuff is important. It doesn't matter nursing or not, but since I'm talking to you as my fellow nursing and future nursing folks out here, really making sure you have a support system. Embracing healthy relationships. So not one-sided relationships, not abusive relationships, healthy relationships. Having good social activities is definitely an absolute must. I actually, over this time that I took off, actually started reading again, reading this book about, it's called The South Side of Chicago, The South Side rather, by Natalie Y. Moore. And I'm really kind of taking that in bit by bit, a little bit. And then I got a Christmas gift, a nursing journal and everything that I can do for my own emotional wellness. Actually, it's by Inez Cook, I believe it is. So y'all get that on Amazon if you can find it. But anyway, spiritually, prayer, religious services, meditation, yoga, for instance, are some things that you can look at for your own spiritual self-care practices. Other things, professionally, setting boundaries, so very important. Not giving patients your phone number, not telling them, where they can see you outside of work. No. Even boundaries with classmates for the students out there, boundaries for coworkers. We don't need to be friends on Facebook. Boundaries. Saying no. Repeat it with me. Saying no. Because if you don't say no, your body will. I'm telling you that. Professional growth and break times. Please make sure to take your breaks. Again, if you don't break, your body will. Go to the bathroom. Eat you something, keep you some snacks with you. That's the life of a nurse. That's one of the things, everybody, is running around taking care of patients, but not taking care of themselves. But professional growth, no matter if that's, reading, going to conferences, joining organizations, things like that. Environmentally, making sure that your environment feels safe, secure, declutter and get organized. Look, we're in a new year, y'all. Throw that stuff away. Get rid of it. Go to Goodwill. Do something. 1-800-JUMP. I don't know about y'all, but for me, it's hard for me to think clearly when I have like junk everywhere. It makes my anxiety. I just can't deal with it. I ain't gonna name no names, but when I walk into some people's houses, I know that are close, near and dear to me, and I see too much clutter. It's like, woo! Hairs on the back of my neck stand up, y'all. I can't handle it. Intellectually, do some puzzles sometimes. Get off that social media, some brain games. Read some books, look at some articles, maybe listen to a podcast on your way back and forth, including the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast, to your appointments, to your classes, clinicals, all of that type of stuff. And then another one is restorative. Relaxation, rejuvenation, and rest. Making sure to build that time in. So it can't be running all the time. You have to, this is different than sleep, this is just literally saying, okay, in between this and this, I'm going to sit for a while, or between this and this, I'm going to stand for a while, or, whatever those things are that you have to do. Maybe that is taking in some of the spiritual things, maybe taking some time to pray or meditate or, take a nap. Y'all, ain't nothing like a good nap. Woo! I mean, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm good. Nah, this past holiday season, I was wiped out. So yeah, an hour was barely cutting it. So hey, it is what it is. It's okay. This is a ninth one that I added in, from, different from what's kind of shown out there in the research rather, and that's financial self-care. So things like banking and saving for your licenses and certifications and things. So this is when you become a really like when you're a nursing student and you're maybe preparing to become a nurse. You want to have a separate bank account so that you can start putting, even if it's $25 a paycheck in that account. So when it's time for your first license renewal and your BLS certification, maybe you want to go to a conference and all of that type of stuff, do some type of professional development, you'll have that money available. You didn't spend it on something else. Health spending. This is helpful for, and I want to go back to that certification renewal thing. This is really even more important when you get into nurse practitioner realm, because, like last year I had to renew my nursing license and nurse practitioner license. I mean, having to get 80 CEUs as a nurse practitioner and 50 as a nurse. Is it 40? Lord, I don't know. Too many. You really got to be organized in what you're doing, but that stuff can really add up and it's costly. Now if you have an employer that reimburses for that, great. But if not, that's on you and you have to renew or you don't have no job. So next, health spending. So HSA or FSA. I don't know how many of you all out there that are listening or watching have heard of this. Drop it in the chat, in the comments rather, if you have. But if you have not, it's definitely a resource that you want to take advantage of with your employer. So with that, this is something that you have pre-tax money taken out of your account before you even touch it, and it goes into a separate account, and it comes like with a debit card, and you use it for health-related expenses. So my fellow glasses wearers out there, you know how frames can get expensive. These glasses can get expensive. Going to the dentist, it could be for co-pays, it could be for your behavioral health, mental therapy, it could be for medications, contacts, a lot of the over-the-counter medicines that you fill your medicine cabinet with. You can even get a humidifier sometimes, a mattress, all sorts of stuff. Pay for exercise programs, even childcare. It just depends on which one you have. Now, you do have to have, I'll say for the HSA, you do have to have what's called a high deductible healthcare plan with your employer. So, they are taking out more money a month, but that kind of gets a little hairy. You can kind of talk to your HR folks more about it, because I'm not really the best at explaining all that. I accept everybody's insurance to take care of them, but ask me how to explain all of it. I'm confused too. They didn't teach us that in school. But get yourself HSA, FSA, because at the end of the year, it's like, if you're going to spend the money anyway, would you have rather have it's like, why get taxed twice? If you're going to go to expensive, I'm not going to say their name because I don't want defamation issues. But if you're going to go to your expensive 24-hour store to pick up some of your favorite or needed over-the-counter products, do you want to have already been taxed on that money coming out your paycheck, and then you pay the taxes again at the register? And if you're into some place like Chicago, which I will name drop in and throw out there, they will tax you for air. We got bag taxes, water tax, this tax, that tax. I mean, it's so many taxes, and you might have had to pay for parking before you went in there. So save your money. Financial self-care. Last thing is employer resources. So I brought up something earlier before about anxiety and therapy, or mental health and then therapy and things like that. Something called EAP. So this is Employer Assistance Program. So this helps with giving like short-term, like maybe 6-week long type of therapy. So this isn't long-term, but this is like just for a short focused time. So just honest transparency, a moment of transparency. During COVID, I had this was so bad. I had a classmate that I went to nursing school with. I found out he died from COVID. And the hard part was not only that the day that I found out he died was the same day that they were having his memorial and funeral. So, and I was at work when I found this out. So it's already hard taking in the news that of a family friend, loved one that passed away, but finding out and then going to see them the final last time you're going to see them, you didn't even have no time to process, just nothing. That was so hard. And then knowing that it was from COVID, and then was like, oh my God, is any of his family and friends sick? We about to go into this church. It's packed with people. I'm not trying to die. Like, oh, there was a lot going on. But I went, I gave my goodbyes. But after that, it was still something kind of like triggered, stirring up in me. And I was going through anxiety bad. I used that EAP. Yes, I did. And I talked to that counselor. We had our Zoom and we did our thing. I have no shame. That was just that was really something. And there was just other things going on, employer things that were happening. So I'm glad that I used that as a resource. And so another thing, FMLA, I want to point that out. So that's Family Medical Leave Act. So pretty much generally you do have to be on any given job for a year. So even if you're not a nurse yet, or you're not a nursing student yet, if you are working a job, healthcare related or not, you might have maybe as a female, maybe you might have really horrible, painful periods every month that take you out. And so instead of calling off and getting all these absences and unexcused absences and all of these type of things, you at least have something that cover you so that you're not at risk of losing your job. So that's like intermittent FMLA. Or maybe you have really bad migraines. Maybe you're taking care of a sick parent, for instance, that you have to, or something like that, take them to visits or take care of them at given times here and there. So you might use it for that, or maybe if you have to be out for some time, maybe you are just not doing well physically, mentally. Maybe you had a surgery, maybe you had an accident. FMLA is a wonderful thing. But again, you have to typically be at your employer for a year. And then, of course, there's PTO, which we already talked about as paid time off, but otherwise known as prepare the others, making sure to use that too. So those are those type of things. So that was it as far as the things that I wanted to share with you on that. So that's the whole thing with just getting into this new year, taking care of yourself, stress, anxiety, and all of that. Now, as far as reflection goes and then manifestation, I want to make sure to get into that. And so just reflecting back on this past year, I actually have to pull up the list, y'all, because there was so much that I did last year. So, okay, so first off, starting off, actually, this wasn't even something that I did, but something that I had to encounter, which was the diagnosis of breast cancer for my mom. And working in women's health, and it was just a lot. Prayerfully though, she got the lump removed, and she went through her treatments and everything. She's taking her medications now, but otherwise she was able to ring that bell, thank God, cancer free, thank God. But in the midst of all that, I still am a provider, nurse practitioner. I'm still a business owner. So 2024 was full. So I started off with the Chicago Black Business Network with I was on the Ask an Expert panel, and I talked about nursing. I was the keynote speaker for the 36th annual National Black Nurses Day, hosted by the National Black Nurses Day Committee. I was I attended for the first time after all these years. I finally got a chance to register and sign up to be a vendor for the 7th annual Chicago Black College Expo. And this is hosted by the National College Resource Foundation. I also was called by the SNMA for medical students, actually. They have a pipeline mentoring program, and I presented on an introduction to health professions and talked to them about nursing. Went and actually for 2 days, I was a vendor at the 7th annual Health, Medical, and Law Citywide Student Conference hosted by the I Am Able Foundation. I also during that month not hosted, but I launched the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast, which I'll get back to in a minute. I was also I actually forgot to mention earlier in the year. I also was invited to be a guest on the Lighted Up podcast, which is so awesome and amazing experience, which you all saw in the intro video a little bit. I was a vendor with the Entrepreneurs Academy with the 2nd annual Building Wealth and Wellness Festival. And then other things were getting into being a vendor with the Hidden Hands Pink Gloves award ceremony hosted by the Rainbow and Goals Cancer Awareness Group. And then attended for the first time as well the 22nd annual College and Scholarship Fair by the 100 Black Men of Chicago. Celebrated other things along the way, like attending the Nurses Scrub Ball that was hosted by the Chicago Chapter Black Nurses Association, which I'm a part of that chapter. By UIC, not once, but twice, y'all. Thank God for contracts. To speak about navigating healthcare and pursuing nursing as a career, and then actually was called again a second time by SNMA to present again to their students last year. And so those were some of the things, but then also I created a product in 2024 with my Nursing Inspire prescription program, and it's called the Nursing Entrance Exam Practice Calendar. I created a partnership, a sponsorship program, which you can find on my website. And then a hard challenge, which only my business owners know. I thought I had lost access to my email list forever. So I was able to actually retrieve it and get all of my email contacts back and all of my templates and all the things you need to do to send things out. So if anybody who uses stuff like Constant Contact, that's a T, Constant Contact, and email service providers like that, I have MailerLite. I thought I had lost it forever, but somebody in the background was able to do something, nothing but God, and turned it back on. Yes, Lord. And I was able to get back to that again. So that is my reflection. So what's your reflection? Is your reflection, what does your reflection look like when it comes to what your year looked like in 2024? So pre-nursing students, nursing students, I'm sure that you have something that you can say that went well, that you can be grateful for, because we have to have an attitude of gratitude when we're looking at our lives. And so whatever that milestone is, celebrate the little things too. So it's not just about, I'm working as a CNA and I'm not saying nothing until I'm graduated nursing school. Like, that's it. No, celebrate those wins. If you, this thing says Instagram. Oh, who knew? Okay. Another technology thing. If you passed your HESI or your T's, great. If you happen to, finish your last prerequisite, if you just got your CPR certification, whatever that thing is, celebrate the small wins. So that's really important too. Now, another thing for reflection that I wanted to share with you all, but I'm also dealing with this tech. I wish I don't know if StreamYard has a way for you to have a person to do your stuff in the background, because it would certainly be nice. Is having like a vision board, so Canva, for those of you that are familiar, is a really, really, really wonderful platform that you could use to just create a lot of things. And so Let me see if I could find that really quick. Okay. And I'm also trying to go live again on Instagram because it cut me off apparently. If I could figure that out. But anyway, share. Ooh. Share screen. Been off for a month and I forgot what I'm doing around here. So if y'all could see my screen, I don't know if this is showing what I wanted to show right now. Yeah, it is. Okay. So this is where you can create your own digital vision board. So you can upload your own photos and then you drag and drop it into these areas. You can rename it and stuff. And then for all of those different areas of your life, whatever that thing is, you can, oh, there's Instagram. It shows it is still there. Okay, I don't know what's going on. You can, say for family, for health, for life, for love, all of those different areas, you can actually go ahead and make your own digital vision board, because nobody a lot of times uses magazines anymore. So otherwise you'd have to print off images offline and, cut them out and all that. You have to have access to a printer. That's a lot going on. But you can find a lot of stuff online digitally or have your own photos in your phone, use that, make your own vision board. So that's part of manifestation. So the other thing that I'll talk about with manifestation is this. I'm here in Chicago. I attend New Life Covenant Southeast. Yes, y'all. With Senior Pastor John F. Hanna and Associate Pastor Dr. Jamone Glenn. And this year we have a theme every what we are believing God for, and this is the year of manifestation. And so that's why I wanted to include this, because we can go through all of the stress and anxiety and we can reflect, but what's next, right? So if you got, I'm gonna put the link in the show notes, but Pastor Hanna talked about, he did a virtual Bible study the day after Christmas. And he talked about 3 things. He talked about, your physical health, your financial health, and your spiritual health. So I have my plans for what I'm going to do. He even has a planner and like a little box that you can buy off johnfhanna.com site, and everything, so that you can be prepared for your next year to come. But some of the health tips and practices that I have as far as the physical part, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm rolling with what we talking about with the church. He challenged us planning out, working out 3 days a week. So I know, coming up soon, I'm going to be planning, trying something called bar. I don't know if anybody have heard of this, but bar exercise is something that you can do. It kind of like as a mix of like ballet and Pilates and yoga, I think, all together. So I did a little trial of it a few months ago. So I'm going to give it a whirl and try that a couple days a week. But otherwise, hey, YouTube is free. Turn on YouTube, put on some dance, do something, because I do my yoga like pretty much in the mornings with YouTube anyway, 15, 20-minute yoga before I go to work. And that's my thing. So maybe that's my 3rd day technically. But otherwise, once it starts getting warmer and things, I'll start taking the dog for a walk. So that's my plans for the physical. The financial, all the stuff I just shared with you all in the financial health, I'm already doing that, but there is an additional goal that I have in mind that Pastor challenged us. He didn't challenge us to, but I took it as a challenge because I want to be greater than that 50%. So anybody that tunes into that Bible study, you'll see what I'm talking about. So that's my goal, at least for the year. I'm not going to say for a shorter term than that, because I don't want to have like a New Year's resolution, so to speak. But in this particular case, this is an intention, goal, or plan. So I'm going to stick with that. Spiritually, fasting and praying. So this month of January, we are actually fasting for 25 days as a church. Every week we fast for something different. So this is veggies only. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, veggies only. Been doing that. Next week is liquids only till 3 o'clock. The week after that is 1 meal a day And then the week after that is your choice from one of the first 3 weeks. And then each week on a Saturday, virtually and in person, we pray for different groups. So we pray for the singles this past Saturday. Then I forget which order, but we pray for the men, we pray for the women, and we pray for the married couples. And then we also pray for the children, like on that Sunday, since there's not another Saturday. So feel free, to tune in not only to that Bible study, but, Bible studies generally are on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central Time. You can find New Life Covenant Southeast or Pastor Hannah on YouTube and listen in. But specifically that Bible study, just to kind of gear you up for the year. I mean, I re-listened to it again this morning, just to kind of refocus myself, because I was kind of burned out and tired at the end of the year, signing charts and labs and all of that. So as far as health practices, something that I do for myself every year, and I've done it for a few years now, is I schedule and book out everything. I think down my body, and that probably sounds a little weird, but I think down my body, like, what do I need? And then I make those appointments. So if I need to see the neurologist, get that appointment scheduled. If I need to see the eye doctor, if I need to see the dentist, if I need to see the ENT, and I need to get my mammogram, check your girls. I schedule my annual physical, and I also schedule my well women exam. So I practice what I preach. I talk to patients about this. Women, I'm gonna say this right now as a pause for the cause. Make sure that you get your annual well woman exam in gynecology, and also get your annual physical in family medicine department. So 2 different types of annual exams that you should be having in a year. And then, of course, for the men folk, you guys should be just having an annual exam in family medicine with your PCP or family medicine provider on an annual basis. Okay. So there's that. So taking care of yourself, because especially as the year goes on, the busier it gets. So schedule it all now, set it all up. So that way, hey, maybe by June, maybe by summer, you're taking care of yourself in the midst of all the other things that are going to come up. Because, as we all know, life be life, and as they say. For you as students, thinking about, for yourself, getting into nursing school or getting through nursing school, not only doing things like that digital vision board, but what else can you do? So I mentioned that I have the nursing school, nursing entrance exam practice calendar. So for those of you who need to take the HESI or TEAS, that's something that you can download, available on my online school. And you can line out how many questions a day that you're going to be practicing, what categories you're going to be practicing, and all of that, so that you can be ready for your entrance exams. Because I also have a blank version on there. Those of you that are nursing students who are planning to take the NCLEX upon graduation, you can take the blank copy, fill in whatever areas you need, and make yourself a practice calendar that way as well, as far as how many questions a day with that new NCLEX Gen that you have. But some other things are looking at financially for you all. I want to remind that as far as professional development goes, if you are going to join the American Nurses Association, the National Student Nurses Association, the National Black Nurses Association, maybe the American Academy of Men and Nursing, the AAMN, things like that, or any other multicultural or other specialty nursing organizations, do it while you are still a student or as a new grad, because you get quite a bit of a discount. So it may be like $30 for the year, $40 for the year, for instance, versus $100, $200, God knows how much, because some of these organizations can really charge a lot. So there's that piece. But also thinking about, if it's, as long as you have a student ID, you can use that student ID to okay, you could use that student ID to, I'm trying to still fix this Instagram, y'all, please forgive me, to get discounts. So you might get discounts, for instance, with Amazon Prime. I know that's one. So you can get Amazon, you can get discounts with them. but you could also, so if you're a Sam's Club member, you can get discounts with Sam's Club, get your stuff in bulk if you need to. Do your thing there, save your money. If there are scrub companies, for instance, some of you all who some of my past episodes, if I was wearing a fig scrub top, for instance, you could get a discount and do the whole ID me process with your student ID, and you can get a discount on fig scrubs and apparel, for instance. So these are just some of the things that you can kind of consider, like Google it. What discounts can I get with my student ID? See what comes up. Save your money. So there's that. And then that was it as far as all of the different things that I would say that I would recommend to students right now at this time. And so now it's all about, after you get your planners together, get your syllabus together for school, get your desk calendar, your foldable calendar, whatever you're going to do, outline your classes, your study time, your exercise time, your rest time, your prayer time, all of those things. Do that so that you can manifest for these things to come true and come forth. So if you're going to be a pediatric nurse, if you're going to be a CRNA, if you're going to be a travel nurse, if you're going to be a women's health nurse practitioner like me, whatever that thing is, let's manifest, y'all. 2025, let's get it. This is the year of manifestation. One more thing that I am so excited to share. So bear with me as I do this screen share thing again. So I just got this notification a couple of days ago. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got this notification a couple of days ago. And I will share this email that was sent to me. So happy New Year, Fallon. Congratulations. We are excited to announce that Listen Up Future Nurse podcast has been named one to watch for the Best of NP Student 2024. This recognition celebrates the impact you're making in the NP community and the value you bring to the podcasting world. And so I am so excited that I was able to receive this honor. And this was bestowed upon and shared to me by Dr. Patrice Little, who is the founder and CEO of NP Student, and also has an NP Student magazine and the NP Student Boot Camp, and so many other things for anybody who is an aspiring nurse practitioner or NP. So this was exciting news. And of course, I give glory and honor to God for getting this award and just some, not only way to end 2024, but to begin 2025 with this news. But I do want to make sure that I thank all of my past guests that were a part of this whole journey. So giving honor to God first for waking me up in the midnight hour for this and allowing me to finally bring this podcast to fruition. And also to my previous business coach, Michelle Green Rose, who actually taught a course on podcasting with Ebony G. But besides her and them, and even my current business coach, Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris, just thankful all the support, my significant other, Delmar, family, friends, anybody who's been supportive. But I want to thank Courtney Singleton from episode number 1, Carol Ben Davies from episode number 2, Dr. Michael L. Jones from episode 3, Eric Taylor from episode 4, Deja Cobb from episode 5, Dr. Samantha Calhoun from episode 6, Dr. Patrice Little from episode 8, Dr. Lindra James from episode 9, Sherelle Page, who's a nursing student, from episode 11. She had one of the top podcast downloads, actually, of all the episodes. Dr. Farah Laurent with episode 13. Another nursing student and nurse, Janae McFarland, because she's an LPN, from episode 14. And then lastly was Shannon King, episode 16. So I want to thank everyone who was a part of this journey. getting to all of these episodes now at episode 17, but I totally have episode 18, over 150 downloads. Season 2 took forever, but finally got on the Apple Podcast. I am so grateful to be able to receive this additional honor and achievement. So wanted to share that with you all. And so we are a podcast to watch. So keep tuning in, keep sharing, and all of that jazz, the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. So, I, am going to end. So let's remember and reflect and think about, taking care of our mental health. There's always going to be life stresses and anxiety. There may even be anxiety disorder and panic attacks. There might be depression, but there are ways to cope with not only the stress or eustress, but distress as well. Trying to find something positive, celebrating the small wins along the way, and with your reflections now, and then going forth and planning, looking forth at your physical, financial, spiritual health, and just overall self-care and having good balance, and manifesting what is coming forth for you in this year to come and this career to come in 2025 and beyond. So thank you all for tuning in to episode 17 of the Listen Up Future Nurse podcast. I look forward to seeing you all the next time for episode 18. And until next time, y'all, it's been one. All right, it's a wrap. Make sure to watch us live, listen to your favorite podcast locations, leave us a review, or if you'd like to reach out to support this podcast, reach out to me as a speaker, or sign up for coaching, please use your virtual remote. You can give us a review on your favorite place to listen or watch this podcast, such as Google, Yelp, or Trustpilot, and you can reach those from the virtual remote as well by scanning the QR code on the screen or by visiting bit.ly/Future Nurse Podcast. Love what we're doing and want to create live streams like this? You can access the sign-up referral link in the show notes for StreamYard. If you'd like to be organized like the virtual remote, consider making one for your next event or as a link in bio with Societap. Please support this Black female-owned company and get yours today.